3 clips for the audio video sync stuff. Okay. Let's stop this again. Hello and welcome to the Sekunde show. We're here to sip some tea. I hope you got your cup, right? And talk a bit about like artist problems, especially artist problems in the furry community. I'm Sekunde, your host, the Luna Artist. If you would like to call me something less complicated, call me Moon.
He's gonna take you back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass. He'd rather have a buffalo.
There's also no point to this game, right? People try to like discuss what the point is. Like, is the point to maximize happiness or is the point to maximize money? And like, you have to buy so much stuff. It's like literally pay to win, and you don't even know what you're doing when you're winning. It's a scam. The game is a scam. It's not always fun to play. It's like there's so many bad experiences, so many unfair things. Like the game has like very bad, unfair randomization of loot, and there's everywhere PvP, but there's no combat system. It's insane. The game is insane. IRL, in real life. I hate it so much. The fact that all stats are hidden, it makes the experience so toxic. It's a toxic experience, and people will hate you from the moment that you turn 12 and you want to like do better with your game self, character, whatever. I'm trying to like do an angry video game, a nerd kind of parody here, but I only wrote down like points of stuff, but I didn't really do a great way of ranting. I hope it turned out well, okay? Oh my gosh, I'm bad at acting. Okay, so today what I want to talk about you and what I want to show you is some different furry portraits, because I mentioned this kind of like in the credits of my last video. Hey, video topics, you know, maybe I'm gonna tackle the furry species challenge. And the reason I wanted to do that is because it's like a wonderful, cool little meme that the furry artists have, because there is kind of like a standardized furry face, and we tend to just be all a little bit clowning on ourselves, right? Yeah, so I have like 5 portraits, I believe. I forgot which species I tackle, but I think it's like a fox and a wolf is in there, and a turtle, because my persona is a turtle actually. So different stuff. I think they are all really cool, and so I wanted to like show them off. And I've been drawing a very different furry species, and I think my furry species at least look a little bit different from each other. But I also sometimes do the more standardized furry face, because I am a commission artist and I do the stuff that my commission clients want me to do. But why? Let's unroll this from the beginning. Why is there this meme in the furry community, right? What is the furry face, and why do people do the furry species challenge? So the thing is that furries are stylized mostly in a certain way, right? And you can see this the most, and what people love to clown about is the furry shark species, right? Something that is based on sharks, but it has like the standardized more cat, dog, wolf, fox face of a furry. And that's kind of fun. And the reason for the stylization is mostly because of the bipedalness of these very anthropomorphic characters, right? Because something that you do not realize when you're making something bipedal is not that the legs change, but that the neck changes as well. Especially with species like the sharks, who don't really have a neck structure, it changes a lot. And we have species like sharks who don't have arms in the same way that we have, you know. Even if you go on all fours trying to like make a cat or something, your sense of direction is very different than that of a shark, because sharks are optimized to be underwater. Anyway, because of lots of these reasons to like make a character bipedal, and because people are more familiar with cats and dogs because we can have them as pets, it's so much easier to just do the standardized shark furry species instead of like trying to match a neck that's forward facing with a face that is not, with like the sideways eyes. So shark faces come with like lots of difficulties that make a realistic shark very hard to put realistically on a bipedal character, right? So because of that, there are many like ways that we stylized furry sharks to be like different than real sharks. And the same applies to many other species. And so there came the standardized face shape that we used for furries, and now people just reskin that for the different animals. And for many people, for many artists, that kind of defeats the purpose of like carefully choosing an animal, right? For example, I have a turtle persona, and the reason I did that is because I picked the turtle for its symbolism. I like the shell. I like the shyness that a shell implies, that you can like retract into your inside, right, to like shield yourself from the outside world. I like the turtle because it always looks old even when it's young, because of the way that the eyes are made. And I liked all these things because I always felt like an old soul. I felt like I'm not... I wouldn't say I was always mature for my age, but I was never like connecting in the same way with like kids my age. Hello again. Sorry, my camera ran out of battery. So, as I was saying, I chose my turtle for very specific reasons, and I really like the symbolism of the turtle that I have for myself. And I think, you know, many people do choose the animals that they use for their personas for like specific reasons. And that's why it would be like very sad if we just reduced all of these unique animals and all the unique symbolism, these very personalized takes, to just be the standard furry thing, right? Because then you're losing a lot of the diversity that we have in this great community. So that's why lots of people really like it. And also lots of people just really want to like show off their skills in drawing different animals. And I totally understand, because I love showing off my art skills. I think I'm a great artist. I mean, not the best artist, but you know, I like my art. I like my skills, and I think I have like a good variety of animals that I can draw. Not that I can draw every animal. Like I do struggle, especially with like tiny beaks and like avian or bird designs, you know. But there are a lot of designs that I really, really love and that I can like draw pretty nicely, pretty well. And so I wanted to share that. I wanted to like show off some nice, cool portraits that I've been doing. And originally I wanted to like do 16 designs, but obviously it takes a lot of time. And then other stuff happened, and I went to a furry convention, and I felt like, oh, I wanted to go to the furry convention, but I didn't because I was ill, and you know, lots of different stuff happened, and because of that, I did run out of time. So I am making this video here, kind of like a sort of tiny rambling video talking about the furry species challenge when I wanted to do it, and other stuff that brought to my mind. Okay, part 2. The free reference sheets. Okay, so in this video you will see like lots of portraits, stuff that I'm doing for the furry species challenge, because as I said, I wanted to do all of them. I didn't. I just did a bunch of them, and now you can see some portraits. But what I also did was like a bunch of different furries in ref sheets, because I thought, hey, I'm not the only person who wants more diversity in the furry species, right? And I'm pretty sure that also a lot of other people would want not just the standardized or like one of the more standard furry species to pick from when they're starting out with the furries. So I made like a bunch of reference sheets, and I thought, hey, wouldn't that be like one of my nice community projects? Because if you don't know, I love to do stuff for my fans, for my viewers, because I have like the coolest viewers ever. Like I have very cool fans. I love them dearly. I love hanging out and talking with on Twitch and just, giving back to them whenever possible. And so I made like a bunch of reference sheets. I think it is 5 species. Yeah, I made like a wolf, a fox, a snake, a cat, and a crocodile because, diversity. And I haven't seen like much of free crocodile reference sheets. And I really like them, but I find that reference sheets are like a little bit boring to watch a speed paint of, so I didn't put the speed paint of that in this video. It's because it's line art and I hate line art and it took me so long, and they're not that great reference sheets, but I tried to give each species except the crocodile different body types as well, so you can like pick and choose what you really like. So we have the wolf comes in like its regular shape and also in like a super masculine shape or like a bit more buff shape if you wanted to look at it that way. And the snake comes in normal or like regular and a bit chubby. And all of these things, like the fox comes in digigrade and plantigrade and stuff like that. So I really wanted to have like a bit that you can like pick and choose what you really wanted to do with your reference sheet, right? And that's just a little something that I did because, having different ideas, like different species that you want, doesn't really get the point across if you have no reference sheet that you can fill out for your character. You would have to commission an artist every time, even for something very simple like a reference sheet. And not a lot of people do draw crocodile reference sheets, or at least not that I have seen. So if you want that, there you go. It's on my Ko-Fi. I'm gonna link it. It's free, and there are the high resolutions. And I thought maybe let's do something like this, like every other month or so. Just one, not 5, because I think that would be overkill. But yeah, like putting something on my list of ongoing projects to do for my viewers. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about is. Okay, let me take a sip here because I'm like running my mouth. Why is free stuff so good, right? So we talked a bit about the furry species challenge. We all do that kind of thing, and why I did like a bunch of furry portraits for the furry species challenge, but then I didn't like fulfill it. But I also did like a bunch of references for the furry species challenge, and I'm doing all of this stuff for free. And free art is always like a good thing, I think, as a consumer, right? I personally hold the belief that you shouldn't do too much work for free, like never work for more than an hour for free for a stranger on the internet. Because you do not want to like build an audience that will only want free stuff from you. You want an audience that wants you for what you build, what you have to offer, for the art that you have to give, or for your personality, or for the stories that you have to tell, and not just grifters, basically, right? But at the same time, I also believe that giving stuff away, being like a bit of a nice person and doing some stuff for free is also very good. And there are multiple things to this that I want to tell you. So first of all, it's the marketing, I would guess. So the furry species challenge is kind of fun. It's just a meme, and people love memes. People love to like impress other people, showing off their skills, showing that they are not like one of the other furry artists that all furry species look the same as, which, by the way, is not a bad thing. If all of your furry species look a little bit similar, that's not a bad thing inherently. It's just that it's not to my taste. But many people like it. Many people want also like their furries to look a certain way. And we do not create these standardized furry species for no reason. There are reasons for these, why there are like standards all over across the board, right? because it's the most, well, it doesn't matter. And the other thing is marketing. So marketing for doing free stuff is good at the beginning. And what I mean with that is from personal history. I started doing furry art, or like drawing furry art 2019, and I did it for roughly a year. And I did 10 weeks of free furry request Fridays, I believe I called it. So something like that was the name. And I did it on Reddit, and I would allow 5 to 10 slots depending on how well I was doing, and just took the slots, filled them up, and did those for free, right? And I did that to build a portfolio because I hadn't drawn any furries before, and I wanted to see how different the species were, what people were expecting, you know. And you get like lots of clients if you're doing stuff for free. People are always looking for something easy, and they don't have expectations, and they're not like risking anything, even if they don't know what your art style is going to be like, right? And some people hated the stuff that I did for them, and I did it anyway, and no one was like mad at me because, you know, it was free. So it was great to like build my skill, build a portfolio up, and also everyone that kept watching it and like kept seeing these posts were like, oh, she's on week 7 or something. Oh, she's going to start doing commissions soon, right? And my first commissions were actually from Reddit. That kind of dried out pretty fast for me, but it was great to build my first gallery portfolio for furry stuff, and it was a pretty nice experience, right? So I do suggest people start off with like doing giveaways, doing some marketing free art when they're starting out. But I also want people to not overdo it. Like I did like full colors and everything, but it's because I'm pretty fast as a drawer, and I never did more than 1 hour. Like I'm really strongly believe that you should never draw for more than an hour for free for a stranger on the internet if you have like nothing else to gain, right? So even though I did those reference sheets, those are for my community. It's not really strangers, right? But if you're like completely a stranger, don't do it completely for free over an hour. I do not believe that it's valuable for you as a person. You're just gonna lose a lot of time and effort into it, and you don't know how much they will value this stuff. So yeah, marketing is basically a good thing. And here is the last story that I want to tell. And I want to tell this because this is like the main reason I'm rushing to put this video out, and why I'm like making this a rant video instead of like constructing and like writing down like a more cohesive thing, because I tried writing a more cohesive video about this thing. So part 3. The one story that like set this off to make this into a more, I guess, a rant video about like stuff in the art community. One of my viewers is like a bit younger. I believe they're like 16 or something. It's Nemi, and they're a young storyteller. They are not like a visual artist themselves, but they write. So they're a young writer, and they have lots of different characters. And they don't have much money, and they don't have to. They're young, they're still going to school. I think they're great. I love talking to them. They sometimes are in my Twitch chat, and they're bringing in their stories. They're always very creative and interesting. Not everything is to my taste, obviously, and also we have like a bit of an age difference, so we're not friends. I wouldn't call us that, but they're a viewer, and I think it's cool to have them in my chat sometimes. But the thing is that they came in and they told me that they were looking at another streamer and showed their writings, their characters that they have generated with like image generators or like a character design app, something like that. And they were made fun of. And I think that's like horrible, because this young writer was just trying to like get a basic reference for a character done, whatever. And looking for other people who would do free stuff and drawing them. They are not malicious. They are doing their best to keep it with the rules, which I know because they always follow my rules in my chat room, which, you have to redeem points, you have to be active in the chat, you have to like stay there for a certain while before I will draw for you, because I don't want grifters. And they're great at this. So I know that they're following the rules. I know that they're not a bad person. They're just, a young writer. And they got made fun of from like a mid-sized streamer to hit their entire audience. And they were like so angry and upset by this. They almost deleted all of their stories and all of their characters, and they were like really set back by this thing. And I hate that this happened to them. The thing is, there's never enough art in the world, right? It's always good to have young people create. I think it's very cool to create, and it's good to write, right? I want to write stories. I want to write comics. I want to do stuff in my life. And I think many people have that drive for creation in them. And I understand how it feels to be like young and having like ideas, big ideas, and being insecure about them, because that was who I was. I know I had like no art skills when I was young, right? And it took me like a lot of years to like get to this point, and I'm not like up there to like make money from it or at any point tell like a Tolkien, Lord of the Rings kind of story. But I still think creation is cool and amazing, and I want people who are passionate about writing to have the confidence to write. I want people, even if their skill is like bad or something, which we don't know about Nemi's skills. I have not shown you anything they have written. They could be bad, they could be very good. You don't know that, and you do not deserve to judge a person, a young writer who's just creating for their own fun, to make fun of them. I'm so heated about this thing. I want people to create stuff, and if you use character creation screens from games or from like a 2D character maker, from a website where other artists give this stuff, or like free reference sheets like the ones that I created, I think that's great. That's a wonderful starting off point. And why wouldn't you be allowed to do that? Because writing stories is hard, writing characters is hard, and I think having a way of sorting them out is amazing. And that's also like one thing that I think is not bad about AI image generators. I hate them as well as next artists. I do not see the future in AI creation, but I think for like personal, just getting a rough idea out or like something like that, it's totally fine. Whatever. Do not feel bad for doing that, right? I feel like we are so mean to young creators, especially if someone is sharing their ideas and their characters, and even if they're not to your taste, you have no right to make fun of them, especially not to your audience. I think that's irresponsible as someone who has an audience, who streams, who's doing art for other people, especially if you market yourself of doing like some free art and then making fun of the people that come to you for the free art. That's so disrespectful, and I hate that. Do not do that. Okay? It's like, yeah. Why would you do that? Okay. So, creation is good. Writing stories is good. I want more people to get into writing, and that also means getting people to do the OC machine phase of art, right? Of creating characters, of writing for your own sake, and I do not want you to give up on art, even if someone else is like being shitty to you. Prove them wrong, right? Even if you don't think you're going to be a writer in the future. I didn't turn out to be a writer. But I did write a lot of stories, and I'm glad I did, because it was a good part of my life. I had so much fun doing it. And I think any time that you can create stuff is a good time. I love doing art, even if I'm not making my living with it. And this passion, I want you to have that in your life. I want you to have something in your life that you can create that is for you. And if it turns out that you can share it with other people, that's also great, but it doesn't have to be that way to be valuable to you. And don't let anyone be mean to you in a way, or demean you just because you are young, or your stories are in their eyes not good enough, or you're not experienced yet. Because when you will get there, I was a bad artist. I turned out, I like my art skills now. And I also liked my art skills then. And I look fondly back to the time where I was a young and inexperienced artist and writer. And I think you will do so as well. You are not wasting your time by writing silly stories, even if it's just fan fiction, even if it's just, catgirls, romance novels. They're not bad. They're for you. They're great. And for any other creators that feel like putting down young creators, if you are a streamer like me, or a YouTuber, or whatever, if you have a platform, if you have yours, do not make fun of young creators. They're starting at some point, and even if what they're creating is not to your taste, they are coming for you for reasons. They look up to you, and do not discourage them. We need better artists in the future. How do you think people will hone their skills if you are making fun of them? Think of all the teachers that made fun of you for drawing an anime style. You're being the same bully to other kids. I'm angry again. Okay. Thank you for watching. That was the video. I'm just gonna put my angry video game nerd rant that I cut out from the beginning in here, because I did 2 takes and they're kind of flowing badly into each other, so you get that. And I guess, thank you for watching. I hope this angry rant video was a bit funny, and not that cringy, and that you take this as a positive thing, because I'm trying to be positive. I try to instill with you a feeling of hope, because I want you to love your art and I want you to have a good time. So they have released this game. It's been out for literally millennia, and it has a very high player rate. Everyone plays it. It's the game. It's the game of the universe, right? Everyone plays it. But there are so many design flaws. And I hate it so much. It ruined my childhood. I'm gonna tell you about it. And it's called IRL. I do not know what this acronym stands for, but it's making me angry. Disclaimer, this has the best graphics that you have ever seen. It's stupid, but okay, it starts with the character creation, right? You know how in all games you get to create your own character? Well, you don't in this game. In this game, in IRL, you're getting randomized traits. You do have no control over anything whatsoever. You cannot choose what you look like. You cannot choose your gender. There are only 2 gender options. And if you want to change anything, the customization, it takes literally decades. Can you believe that shit? What were the developers thinking? What was their idea? It was so stupid. Someone was no, you know what we need? We need rigid gender and sex roles. I know, it sounds so stupid.
Rather eat the rotten asshole of a roadkill skunk and down it with beer. He's the angriest gamer you've ever heard. He's the angry Nintendo nerd. He's the angry Atari Sega nerd. He's the angry video game nerd. When you turn on your TV, make sure it's tuned to Channel 3. He's got a nerdy shirt and a pocket pouch. Although I've never seen him write anything